And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Girls of High Value channel, which has now changed name to the Three Girls in Love channel. What do you know? It's the Men of High Value channel that we've got for men and the Three Girls in Love channel that we got for women. In the beginning of this movement, or in the beginning of this channel, I was trying to figure out what we should name this channel. And I was not considering using Three Girls in Love because at that time, to be honest, I wasn't comfortable with sharing the knowledge that I have about Three Girls in Love, which I believe I have done you a massive disservice because once you understand Three Girls in Love, it is so much easier to understand the woman and understanding yourself in general. I wish I would have done this 5 years ago once I got that knowledge, but hey, what do you know? I started 6 months ago instead. So you guys who are getting this information about Three Girls in Love and getting the information about women that you're getting from this channel, you are so way ahead of everyone else. It is absolutely ridiculous. And, maybe you can have some of that joy and happiness that we've got and that we're going to create with Three Girls in Love. What are we talking about on this specific episode? Is about increasing the value of women everywhere. What we want to create is a society where both men and women's emotional needs are taken care of, including, but most importantly, children. Children have emotional needs. If their emotional needs are not met in their childhood, they will strive to solve them in their adulthood. Okay? If they're not emotionally fulfilled, they're not going to emotionally fulfill others once they're grown up. However, the opposite is true. Emotionally fulfilled kids emotionally fulfill others when they're grown up. And that's what we're trying to create. My whole entire purpose of life, okay? People talk about, finding your meaning and finding your purpose and what is the most important thing that you can bring to the world. Well, I figured mine out approximately 6 to 7 years ago when my quest in life became to take care of women and children, or basically solve the problem of women and children struggling and being unhappy for basically their entire lives. There are so many women that are literally miserable, and they stay miserable when it could have been avoided. The only way to avoid it, however, is when we apply the correct principles in order for us to increase the value of women. You've got patriarchy and you've got feminism or matriarchy. They're two completely opposite spheres, but when you take the best of both worlds, that's when you get Three Girls in Love. You swallow the red pill, you begin to understand female nature. But when you swallow the blue pill, okay, not according to what the red pill people are saying, because they're saying that if you swallow the blue pill, you're basically, pulling a veil in front of you and believing in ignorance that women are absolutely amazing, and they don't do anything wrong. Now, however, that is somewhat true, okay? If you apply the correct principles. If women are completely feminine and completely unburdened, and that needs to happen with the conjunction of a man, okay, helping to completely unburden her so she doesn't have to take upon herself the trials and difficulties that are unnecessary in her life, then we can actually end up in a world where women are fantastic all of the time and are able to be unburdened and enjoy themselves and enjoy being with their kids and taking care of kids and creating a home and being, the amazing women that we desire in our lives. Like, it's absolutely amazing what is possible if men find a way to create that solution. And we've created that or developed that or researched that to the nth degree in order to discover Three Girls in Love and all of its problem-solving solutions. In monogamy, this is what happens once feminism is in place. The reason why feminism came to be was simply because of contraception, the birth control pill. All right. Because before then, women had always been under the complete and utter control of men. Now, sometimes women would do crazy things, but they would very often be punished for it by men. Okay, so women have been suppressed and oppressed for hundreds and thousands, or maybe 10,000s of years, until we've come now to the invention of the birth control pill, where women are now able to sleep around without any consequences. However, there are emotional consequences from the unseen world, okay, the unseen world of your emotional stability, your mental stability, and being connected to other people that are not in your presence. That's what happens when you sleep around, which is something that you don't think about in the act of doing it, because you're only in your emotional, excitement of sleeping around at that time. It's just new. You just need a new person all the time. And it's serial monogamy and all of the issues that it brings with it. It is fantastic what feminism has brought to the table in terms of women being allowed to express their emotions. Because before they weren't doing that out of fear and out of oppression. Now that they actually can speak up and share their thoughts and share what they feel, what they think, and the opportunity of sharing all of that online is absolutely amazing. It gives us millions upon millions of case studies when women are allowed to vent, when they're allowed to speak, when they're allowed to express their emotions. That's good. We want that. We weren't able to get that, before pretty much, the 1900s. It's been a fight and struggle for equal rights, for equal opportunity, for equal everything when it comes to women's rights. This has been a good thing. I'm grateful for feminism because it has helped us to figure out the secrets of women. If it wasn't for the oppression of women, we would have known their secrets way back in advance, okay? But it didn't really come to this point before now, the last 50 years, where we've actually seen case study upon millions of case studies of how women react and how women act and how women are hypergamous by nature. And in my opinion, it's according to nature and it's fantastic. And the system is perfect in order for us to discover what's actually going on. Monogamy has brought the truth about how it is to live in it by women being allowed to express their emotions. We now know that monogamy sucks. We might not known that in the past because in our household, back in the day, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the man would be the man and he'd basically put his foot down and he'd tell his woman to shut up, and that's just how it is, and she's not able to express her emotions because, or else blah blah blah. The man would put his foot down and he would not listen to her because he did not understand her, and he also needed to protect her, and he needed to protect his kids, and da 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 da. Issues, problems. Now we come to monogamy in these years where now women have been sleeping around and then they get married around 30 years old, 31 years old in the Western world, and then they tell their daughters to become independent. They tell their daughters that don't rely on a man. Okay, men suck when it comes to protection and provision. Make sure you take care of yourself because the majority of men do suck, unfortunately, in terms of protecting and provisioning. So they tell their daughters to be independent. When the daughters are being taught to be independent, they end up sleeping around a lot more than if they had been taught that, you know what, let's find the best possible man for you so that we know he's trustworthy, so that he can take care of you for the rest of your life. It is possible to find a guy like that, a guy who has high ambitions, who's fired up outside his brain, who's living semen retention, who's committed to a T to his woman, to his family, but there's just too few men out there who are able to overcome their emotional instability that they have received from growing up in a monogamous household. Okay, we're connecting the aspect of emotionally unfulfilled kids will not be able to fulfill the emotional needs of others as adults. Because if he was grown up with emotional issues, he's going to have emotional issues growing up. Both people come with their baggage into monogamy and they cannot solve things. And monogamy, like, there's a fault with the system itself, because women are not able to be in love with the man long term. It's a problem. So how do we what does this happen to, what happens to the value of women? The value of women over time, the more women open their legs and sleep around, the less value the woman is going to have. Like, if you say that the thing that men are desirous to get, and the problem that men have and will have for the rest of their lives is their sexual desire. That's a problem, okay? It's wonderful problem, but it needs to be solved on a continual basis, or else the man will have an emotional lack. It's impossible for a man to be a 10 in joy and happiness without his sexual relationship being absolutely amazing, obviously. So that's a problem that a man has forever. And he'd like to have it with someone that he has a deep connection with, right? Or else it's going to be basically a quick transaction and then he goes back to being unfulfilled again. That sucks. Okay, so men desire to solve that problem forever. And the more we enter into the depths of feminism and into the negative aspects of feminism, which is basically that women can sleep around with whoever they want, whenever they want, which is great that you have the choice, but the consequences are horrific in terms of, since so many women are available, even the ugliest and non-committal men are receiving the rewards of having sexual access with women. That's a problem, because there's no reason for them now to progress. There's no reason for them now to become better. There's no reason for them to move on and improve their lives, because there's so many girls available anyway. And then you've got the strip clubs, and then you've got porn, and then you've got this, that, and the other. All of the things that are available at the fingertips of men that have not controlled their emotions, that have not learned self-discipline, that have not become the men that they're supposed to be. They're just like, yeah, I can get whatever I want. This has been the case throughout history as well, for hundreds of years. What happened? A man got a woman, got married, had a family, and at this point in time, he basically, most of the time, stopped progressing. He'd basically do the bare necessities in order to provide for himself and his family. And sometimes he wouldn't even provide for his family well enough. So the woman would have to do a lot of the work at home, a lot of the work with the kids, and a lot of the work in terms of getting the money inside the household to feed her kids. Men have sucked for centuries, except for a few minority of men. A few minority of men who were motivated because their wives were actually beautiful, who were motivated because their wives were actually feminine, and wanted to take care of the kids and wanted to take care of him, and who provided for his family as best as he could. We need to bring about the value of women and bring it up. The more value a woman has, the more motivated a man will be to take care of her. And we want that. That's a good thing. For men to be motivated to take care of women and children is a necessity for society to work. If men are not motivated to take care of women and children at all, and basically follow the MGTOW movement, what's gonna be of women? What would happen if there's a massive financial calamity where basically everyone's net worth decreases by 95%, including your salary, but the prices remain the same? What would happen? That would be a problem for women and children, right? Unless they've got a man of high value who's always a step ahead of the crowd, who's not following the herd, but is doing his own thing and establishing businesses and has the capacity to create solutions so that he can feed his family and protect them no matter what circumstance. Do you understand? We need to make sure that feminism works whenever it's a good time and also when they're horrible times. Because right now we're living in the good times financially, whether you believe it or not. The past 50 years, when the dollar was taken off of the gold standard, and now the dollar has lost 95% plus of its value compared to the gold standard. That means that the dollar is in a massive fall, and that will only exponentially increase. Meaning, the society as we know it is probably going to have its challenges very soon if we're going to return to the gold standard. And we have to do that because right now we're living on debt. Okay? The only reason why you have a quality of life right now is because we accepted debt as a possibility in 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off of the gold standard. The moment he did that, debt exponentially increased because now money was free. You know, like you understand that the interest rate. I'm telling you things that are ridiculous to know about, but it's important for you to know what's going to happen in the future. Okay, the dollar has like the interest rate in America right now is at 0, which means that anyone who has any form of credit worthiness can borrow pretty much whatever they want as long as they promise to pay it back and promise to pay it back. And the banks are basically, okay, here you go, free money. Let's just create a number on our computer and then here you go, you got money. That's the way it works right now. There's no restriction to money being borrowed. And what can they do with that money? Anything they like. Very often, business exponentially grows during that time, but it's fake. It's fake because it's not bound to anything of value. It's not bound to productivity. It's not bound to gold mining. It's not bound to anything. It's just paper. And the more we understand that as a people, the more we can try to return to the gold standard when productivity actually brings rewards. Because right now you're trying to be productive and building up businesses or having a job, but you're being paid worthless money. So if we understand this, what's the future? The future is hyperinflation. The future is there's going to be poverty, a lot more poverty, and it's going to get worse, a lot worse before it gets better. Society always improves. Always improves. People improve in terms of education, in terms of understanding different things, electricity, internet, all of the things that we have, that's going to remain unless there's a World War III. I hope that there's no World War III. However, there's going to be a lot of struggling because people will have lost a lot of funds. So let's hope that people will be civil during that time. If they are, great, then we can build up society again, put the dollar back on the gold standard and move ahead. We're increasing the value of women here. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys right now, because right now women have lost their value very often because women are sleeping around. Not their fault, men's fault for having created that problem. Men created feminism with the way that they treated women throughout patriarchy. So we get feminism. What's the solution to feminism? Because what's the solution to improving the value of women when the value that women bring to the table is no longer there, right? Men, masculine men, the ones that matter, okay, feminine men, they need to figure themselves out, okay? Let's not think about them for a while. They have their own issues. You don't want to be involved with feminine men's issues. Trust me. Masculine men, however, you want to be part of their journey because they've got a purpose, they've got a drive, they've got goals, and they want to solve problems. They want to bring solutions to the table. Those are the ones that you want to be attached to. Those masculine men are looking for feminine, unburdened women that don't have debt, that don't have tattoos, that don't have a lot of emotional baggage. And they're just trying to find the best possible women that they can bring with them on their journey to continue their motivation and their drive into exponential growth, in the future. That's what masculine men are after. They're also after women so that they can have mothers for their children, but also be homemakers to enjoy, so that they can come home and enjoy their home, enjoy their family, to enjoy seeing their kids grow up being emotionally fulfilled. That's what masculine men want. Monogamy does not solve that problem. Okay, monogamy causes there to be also, in the same way that there's a shortage of good men, there's also, unfortunately, a shortage of good women because of their emotional instability and emotional baggage that they bring with them from past sexual relationships. If women had been living voluntary celibacy, which is not their fault for not doing that because they didn't have fathers who protected them, they didn't have fathers that told them that it is important that you live this and this and this way because of the consequences that it will bring to your future marriage, your future relationship. You want to have a strong foundation. The best, or the at least the ones, the marriages with the least divorce is when both are virgins. Interesting how that works, right? So for some reason they're more committed to each other. However, even those marriages suck to a great degree. Okay, it's the system that there's a problem with. How do we increase the value of women? The way that we increase it is in Three Girls in Love, responsible polygyny. Why? Why is that? Because now it's only a certain amount of percentage of men, the best possible men, that receive the okay from other men of high value and the women's fathers to receive their daughter. It's going to take a lot, especially even in this circumstance right now where not many people know about Three Girls in Love. It's going to take a lot for fathers to accept their daughters to go with the man who has three women, right? Because it's completely opposed to everything that we learn in the mainstream. However, that father will make sure that that guy is committed, that that guy will take care of the woman's emotional needs, that that guy is going to do this, and the other, or else he's not going to accept it. In Three Girls in Love, that's what's possible. A man taking upon himself the responsibility of providing and protecting for three women. What happens when million men do that? 3 million women are now basically taken off the meat market, okay, of sleeping around, of Tinder, of all those issues, and they're taken off that market at an early age, hopefully, right? So that they don't have to go through their party 20s, and go through a bunch of regrets and then end up finding a guy, pretty much a loser, that accepts her at the age 30. Okay, that's usually what happens. Now, you don't, as a woman, you don't want to look at that as like, oh, if I marry a guy when I'm 30 years old and I just simply want to have monogamy, then he's probably going to be a loser. That's just how it is, because that's the guy you can get, right? The best possible man you could get was in your between 18 and 22. And if you at that moment in time say that you're willing to take upon yourself the responsibility, take upon yourself, or allow your man to take upon himself the responsibility of three women, including you, and they're your best friends, that makes it so that you're now elevating your value exponentially. Okay, because you're at 18, 22, you're at the prime of your life, and you are basically saying, I want this lifestyle. When you do that, you're not only increasing your value, but you're increasing the value of women everywhere. Even though it's kind of like a C star. What are they called? Yeah, like basically, they have the story. I know that it's not called a C star, but you have the story of the kid, putting sea stars into the ocean, and then someone says like, there's thousands of sea stars on this beach. Like, how can you just throw out one at a time? And like, you're never going to be able to help everyone. And then the kid is like, yeah, but I'm helping this one. Okay. And so he throws the sea star out. And that's basically what you're doing as a woman when you're accepting Three Girls in Love. not only are you showing care for your best friends, because you're allowing them together with you to accept this man who is absolutely amazing, right? We got to make sure of that, or else it's going to suck. Okay. But if he's a man of high value, received the trustworthiness stamp of approval from other men of high value, a lot of them, then you can know for a fact that this is going to work out. He's got the financial stability. He takes the blame for everything that goes wrong in our relationships. But you're also helping every woman out there to increase their value, because they don't have to put up with crap anymore. That's what women are doing and have been doing for thousands upon thousands of years. They put up with crap. And now Three Girls in Love is actually putting a stop to that, because low value men are the ones that have to change. Low value men are the ones that have to now improve in order for them to have any sexual access, right? That's what we need. We need a society where men are motivated and they are actually caring about property rights, in the sense of, it's when you get married or when you get committed in a relationship, the man, you can say that he has you as a property, but that it sounds very wrong, because that's how it's been forever, right? But you got to understand that he's your property too. In Three Girls in Love, the man is your property. If he doesn't live up to his potential, if he doesn't live up to what he was supposed to do and what he committed to do in terms of providing and protecting you three throughout that relationship, leave him. I want you to leave him, because then he sucks. And there will be someone who is better than him out there, and the hypergamous nature of women will take care of that. You guys will leave him, and that's fantastic. Okay, understand, patriarchy, feminism, they've got to go hand in hand. In the past, women couldn't divorce men. They were stuck with him for life very often, right? Because that was religion. That was how it was. If your man sucks and he's not willing to improve, and he's not providing and protecting you the way that he was supposed to do, even if it's monogamy or Three Girls in Love, in my opinion, you should leave him if you've got a better option. But you've got to know for a fact that he's a better option. If you are in a monogamous relationship, in marriage, then you leaving for another monogamous marriage, probably that guy will not be a better option. Because like, your relationships in monogamy will always suck. Like, there's no exception to the rule. You sometimes see exceptions to the rule, like maybe 5% of couples are like, wow, that couple is amazing. Oh, wow, they're always happy and they're always this, that, and the other. Yes, but you don't see what happens behind their four walls of their own home. Okay, just like me and my relationship with my wife, everyone thinks that it's absolutely amazing, and it is. Okay, when we go outside, we're normal, happy people, and we enjoy being in each other's company, and we're best friends. So it looks like we're having a fantastic relationship, but both of us are not being emotionally fulfilled. Both of us are struggling with life because of monogamy. That's the only reason. Three Girls in Love would have solved, like, it doesn't go one single day that we don't say to each other, man, Three Girls in Love would have solved this easily. It would have been so easy to solve this problem. Every single day, Three Girls in Love is a solution to our problems. Every single day. And if you had understood that and really got into understanding the value of women increasing in that type of environment, and the value of the majority of men would be decreasing, that's a good thing. That's what you want to bring about. Their value going down, but your man of high values value massively, exponentially increases. A man who sees another man who has multiple women, he looks at that man and respects him. You're increasing your man's power, your man's confidence, your man's everything when you accept that kind of relationship. And you know what women are attracted to? They're attracted to power. They're attracted to confidence. So what you're automatically doing when you're accepting three girls in love is you're exponentially increasing your probabilities of being in love forever. That's a good thing, right? You want to keep that in love spark and flame for the rest of your life. Why should you only have that in the beginning of a relationship? And why does it always have to fizzle out? Monogamy is the reason. Because your man is low value the moment he begins committing to you. He is high value when he hasn't committed yet. That's why you're all in love with him and enjoy him, and the sex is amazing, blah blah blah. But the moment he commits to you, then the attraction goes down, because now there's no other women interested in him at all. And simply, familiarity. That's just how it is. And no other women are into him. That's really the biggest reason. So, could we create a world where all women are taken care of, where all children are taken care of, and have their emotional needs met, and who are emotionally fulfilled, who have food on the table, who have clothes on their backs, who have a house or a roof over their head? We can create a world like that, but the only solution is three girls in love, responsible polygyny. It cannot be done any other way, because this is the only way that you increase men's motivation and desire for progress, exponential motivation. Okay, and not only will tens and nines and eights and sevens and sixes be accepted into three girls in love, in the beginning, those are pretty much the only ones that will be accepted. But your value as a woman increases immediately once you accept three girls in love and you want it to work. Okay, so even if you are a 6, you will become an 8 immediately when you say, I want three girls in love. Not only just by saying, I want three girls in love, but also applying the principles of three girls in love and knowing exactly what a man wants makes it so that you focus on those things in your life, like femininity, like being unburdened, like smiling, like having your feminine nature. That will attract a man to you. If you don't accept three girls in love, but you want monogamy, you still have to be masculine in order to provide for yourself, in order to do this, that, and the other. Do you see the drift? Like you increased your value immediately upon accepting this. But not only that, you're increasing the value of all women everywhere, even just one small speck at a time. And you're making it mainstream, also one step at a time. When you do that, men will now begin to pick up the pace, because not only will the 10s be taken care of, now the 9s and the 8s and the 7s, and I'm just ranking them in terms of what's attractive to men. Okay, it's just nature. I'm not labeling women as 4s and all that stuff, because everyone is a 10 in God's eyes, right? Everyone has value, everyone has worth, etc. But understanding it from the point of nature, men desire obviously the most beautiful, the most unburdened, the most everything. And then those are the ones that will be taken care of first. And then we're going to take care of everyone until even the ones are taken care of. Everyone will be taken care of in a society like that, because that's the nature of three girls in love. You see, the mathematics behind it is going to create an absolutely amazing society where all women and children, none of them live in poverty. None of them have their emotional needs unmet. Why? Because men of high value understand what it takes in order for women and children to be emotionally fulfilled. And then you go one generation, and none of the low value men will have the opportunity to reproduce. Yay! Fantastic! Voluntarily. This is not snipping men. This is not doing this in population control and all that stuff. This is not that sick, thing that other people are focused on and trying to do. No, this is nature allowing itself to run its course an evolution to go in the right direction. When only high value men are reproducing with women whose value has increased, whose health has increased, whose unburdening femininity has increased, those children will turn out better, more healthy, more beautiful, more everything. We're creating a better society from it. And what happens with that next generation? They're going to find men of high value as well. And now, because now the low value men are beginning to see that I need sexual access too, and this porn is not being very fulfilling, and this sex doll, whatever, is not very fulfilling either. I want the real thing. Those guys will begin to be motivated to actually access personal development and grow and become men of high value. That's a choice that men make in their own lives, and they have to make it. And the way they become men of high value is by them becoming disciplined, focused, voluntary celibate for time, practicing semen retention, so that they can earn the trust of other men and earn the trust of 3 women at the same time. That's the way to improve society in the long run. One small step at a time, we're improving. It could take 100 years. It could take 200 years until this movement has spread until the entire earth has been filled with it. But it's worth it. It's going to be very difficult in the beginning. That's just how it is. Everything's difficult in the beginning. But once it's established, once you're in a relationship with the man of high value who does protect you and who does provide for you to the nth degree for the rest of your life, you can relax and enjoy your life and fulfill the duties and responsibilities of a homemaker together with your best friends in a way that is not burdening to you. You can have kids in a way that's not burdening to you. Could you imagine that? Amazing. And actually, birth can be very pleasurable. It doesn't have to be painful when you're applying the correct principles. Okay, that's another topic for another day, but understand we're increasing the value of women everywhere. Finally, because they deserve it. Women deserve it. That's my purpose in life. And 3 Girls in Love was the only way that we figured out has the potential of doing that. If monogamy is the rule, then the world will continue to look the way it's doing right now for hundreds upon hundreds of years. Forever, maybe. Because feminism has it in that way that women are allowed to do whatever they want, whenever they want, which is great, okay? But they very often use that to their disadvantage in their earliest years, which is those years when they should have really thought about the long term. Those are the years that need to be protected. And that's why the ages between 18 and 22 are the most crucial times in a woman's life in terms of securing herself the best possible man. That's the biggest and most important decision she makes in her entire life. And to wait until her value in terms of the attraction she brings to a man and has decreased. And she's older now, and she's not as healthy, not as fertile, not as family material. It's a very bad decision, but it's not her fault. It's basically the mainstream that has created the way it is today. But if she understands that there is a man of high value out there, that he is waiting, then she could maybe make the best decision in her life, in my opinion, which it will be to secure a man of high value from this channel. From the Girls of High Value and the Men of High Value channel, securing a guy that has received the stamp of approval and be part of this journey. This is the Girls of High Value channel, which has changed the name to 3 Girls in Love channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you in the next one.